Okay, I know that everybody has put videos out already. Hold on, here I go, messing with this tripod. I know that. Okay, I know that there's already been videos out all today. So I'm in here, I'm coming in late, and you're not even going to get it because I'm not doing it as a live, or I'm not doing it as an immediately, like right now video. You'll get it tomorrow morning. But I didn't sleep last night. I am exhausted. I stayed up till 1:30, and then I drove down to Mom and Dad's, hoping that I was going to be able to go up and turn around and come home. But the water had crossed their driveway already. When it crosses their driveway, it goes into those low spots that I've showed in my field, how you can see where my pond would run into. It's like a low area, and it sort of winds through the field back toward Mom and Dad's driveway. And when it comes across, when the river comes across the driveway, it gets into them low spots, it feeds into my pond, then it keeps going, it feeds into Lester's pond, and it keeps going across like Joanne's property, the front part of her property. It's just the ground just sort of does this, and all through there. So the water was up, so I just backed all the way back up down to the road and turned around, pulled back in the driveway. And then I set my alarm for 4, so I didn't go to bed until after 1:30. So it's about 2 o'clock when I got into bed. I set my alarm for 4. My alarm went off at 4 because that's when the river was cresting and I wanted to see. And what's good about my bedroom is I lifted my blinds last night when I went to bed, so I can see straight out to my chicken coop, and I can see the floodlights that, are hanging on the outside of my coop, shining down at the ground. And every time I just turned over in bed and I'd look out, I was never seeing water, which, praise God, I was never seeing water. And so at 4 a.m. when my alarm went off, that's the first thing I did was sort of raise up and look, and it was just dry. I could just see the dirt and the grass underneath that light. So I knew water had never crept up into my, like backyard part, or where I didn't even lock my chickens up last night. There were some chickens in the coop. The coop door was open, and there were some chickens on the fence rail. But I just left them to do their own thing. The only ones that were locked up were the babies, the little ones that Tina just brought not too long ago. But anyway, they're sort of up. Their little house is up. It's on the ground. There's the ground, and they have their ramp and into their house. So they're not like the big chickens that are completely. I can't sit back, and I need something behind my back. Oh yeah. The big chickens they have their roosts and their different levels, but I just wanted the door open. And the same thing I told Bree. Bree called and said, what should she do with her chickens? And I said, don't lock them up. I said, if you fear that water is going to be in their coop in the morning. I haven't talked to her and asked her, did water get in? I know she had a video earlier, and I don't know if she addressed it because I didn't watch the whole thing. But she said, water's going to be in my coop tonight. And I said, okay, then you need to open your door back somehow, screw it, put a screw in it, holding it back, tie it back, hook it back, somehow make your door stay open. And I said, then turn the light on so the chickens will see when the water starts creeping in. I said, because they will go to the highest place, whether that be the top rungs of her, what was that? Of her roost, or I told her they'll maybe eventually be on Jake's porch or the fence rails. And I told her how my chickens were during Harvey. I said, Bree, chickens float like ducks. In my dressing room. Down there. No, Levi, down there. The dressing room. Right there. I think there's a towel in there. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, during Harvey, my chickens all floated like ducks. I was in shock looking at them out there floating. And they eventually got up on the fence rail, and at some point they ended up on the trampoline. And then I had little chicks here on the front porch. But I said, you know, they will float like ducks for a while. And so I said, keep it. She was, well, she didn't have a light out there. And I said, well, you can't run an extension cord out there. I said, because running an extension cord along the ground, you'll just end up with doing electrocuting them if they get in the water. I said, then you just, she goes, well, we'll have a lot of chickens to eat. And I said, no, because then their bodies were soaked up river water. So I told her to come down and get one of these solar lights. You know, I bought a 3-pack of the flood solar lights, and I bought a 2-pack of those hanging ones. Those hanging ones suck. They're the most horrible lights ever. I've already done a return at Amazon. They're going back. They sat on my front porch with their solar little panels shining to the sky. And those solar ones are bright, bright, bright at night. I haven't hung them yet. Not the solar, but the flood ones. They're so bright. You walk out, and I think they were all on the setting that they're dim, and when you walk past them, they get bright. They were so bright that when the cats were moving around on the front porch, even with the door closed at night, the last 2 nights, all of a sudden the porch would get bright. And I was like, those are awesome little lights. So I told her, I said, come down. I've got 3 brand new flood solar lights and a couple of clamp kind, or clip kind, or hanging kind. Anyway, she come down to get one of those, and she took one of the flood ones, but she said she's had some of those hanging ones too, and they didn't work for her either. I said, you can't see them. They're just pale. They're lit up pale like, I'm going to tell you what they look like. When those bulbs that last 9 years, those new LEDs, when they start going out and you can just, they're still on, but you can just barely see light, that's what those look like. They're horrible. And they've had almost 3 days of pure sun just beating in on them out there on that porch. And the flood ones are awesome, but those little hanging ones suck. Anyway, she took one and went. So I haven't asked her if water went in her coop yet or not. But anyway, I see you found Carrie Underwood t-shirt. Don't turn that on yet. So I guess everything was good. I've talked to Mom today already. She's talking about getting a carpet for new carpet. She wants to just have one big rug in the middle of her living room, and that's it. She wants just to be no carpet, which is awesome. She wanted to know when we could do that. I'm just like, well, we couldn't even get out to Cleveland this morning, and the carpet she found, the big rug that she found, is at Ollie's or Ole's or whatever it's called in Cleveland. So I said Saturday we would do it. Other than that, she's got kids. And then tomorrow morning is Dad's surgery, and then I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. And I told her that when mine is over, that I would swing by the hospital and check on her and Dad. And then yeah, so everything was good. Like I said, I drove down at 1:30. There was water over the road at Mom and Dad's driveway, so I couldn't go on up. I just backed all the way down and come back home, set my alarm for 4, woke up, looked out there, and I could see ground at my chicken coop, so I knew the water hadn't come up. I did put Molly and the goats in the lane in the new lot. It's bigger now. It's not just that skinny little lane. It's got the bigger area that I just fenced in. I left them locked in that last night because if the water had come across in the low spot, I was worried that they might be up by my mulberry tree up on the hill by the fence that separates mine from Dustin's, or Bree's got her horses. Yeah, I was afraid they would end up there, and then the water would come, and they couldn't get back. And I just didn't. And Molly would walk it. The cows walk in water, but the goats wouldn't have, and that would mean they were stuck up there. And then later last night when I talked to Dad, he said, well, that was good that I did that just in case. And also, he said, when I let them out this morning, I might consider keeping my 2 girls, which was Mary, well, Katie too, but Katie's baby in the side yard. But he meant Mary and baby girl, that dairy goat. He said keeping them in that lot for the next couple of days until he can get his goats off that field, because he's got bucks out there, you know, uncut boys that would maybe try to make my girls be married, you know, have babies. We don't want that. So, not right now. Baby girl, I can't get her butt fat. She eats what the rest of them eat and will not gain any weight. And she's been I've done everything to her, and she just won't gain weight. I don't know what's wrong with her. And I don't think she's ever had a heat. And Dad says she may not have ever had a heat because she is so skinny. So I'm just like, well, then I don't know what to do. Even that day, now I know that was stressful for her that day when I brought her back down here and locked her in the side yard because I was worried about her being sick, and I had to quarantine her so she wouldn't, you know, being up there with Lester's, Ellie and them's goats, and they had been sick. I told Dad, I said, she had the opportunity to eat as much as she wanted, because I filled up one of those black things, and I said, she didn't, well, I didn't fill it up, but I put one big scoop, it's 2.5 pounds of feed in that black thing. That one scoop is 2 1/4. That scoop that I use for scooping their feed is 2 1/4 pounds. And I dumped it into that little bowl, that black rubber bowl, and it was still there that evening. She hadn't even ate it all. So when she's given the opportunity to have as much feed as she wants, grain, she doesn't eat it. So I told her, I said, I don't know what to do with her. But anyway, he said I ought to keep them locked up until he can get his goats back down. And he didn't want to move his back down till we see what this rain is going to bring in the next few days. So praying that I was looking at my Fox. Now, I don't do the Weather Channel or any of that. I do local. So I have my, oh, look at this. I had my Fitbit app open a while ago. Last night, this is why I'm so tired. I told Levi a while ago, I said, I've got to get up and do something or I'm going to fall asleep in this chair. I got 4 hours and 3 minutes of sleep. That's all I got. Night before last, I got 7 hours and 30 minutes, and I have a sleep score of 84, which is pretty awesome. I'd love it to be in the 90s, but it was an 84. Last night, I got 4 hours and 3 minutes, and it wouldn't even give me a score. I didn't sleep long enough to get a score. Isn't that horrible? I'm tired. But anyway, I have Fox weather. It's our local weather. Okay, so at 3 o'clock, we have a 30% chance of rain. At 4 o'clock, 40%. 5 o'clock, 40%. 6 o'clock, 40%. And then it drops to 10%. And then at 9 o'clock tonight, some moderate thunderstorms begin. And then at 10, it's only a 35% chance of rain. So in an hour, the thunderstorms go away and we're back down to chances. And then Thursday morning, or during the morning hours of Thursday, it's a 55% to 60% chance of rain all the way from 12 to 4 a.m. And then at 5 a.m. it drops down to 50. At 7 a.m. it drops down to 45, and then 40, and then 50 and 45 and 45. So we're not getting, how do you say this? We're not getting 100% chance of rain for the next several days. We're getting every hour of percentages of rain, which if we get it, but that doesn't always we get it. I mean, there are times when this says it's going to rain here, but it only rains in Splendora and we don't get anything here in Plum Grove. Or it rains in Cleveland And I mean, I've been in Cleveland and it's pouring and get here and it's just dry. Like nothing came this way. So I'm trying not to be too worried. I try really hard. I think most of my family is this way. We tend to try to see the lining, the rainbow, the something, but we don't try to look at the just, oh, it's a flood. Oh my God, what am I going to do with the flood? We just do what we need to do and give it to God. And so Friday, it looks to be about the same. There's never 100% chance of any of these hours through any of the next 2 days. None. Let me see what Saturday says. Saturday's only a 20% chance of rain, and it's too far in advance for me to get hourly on Saturday. So Thursday, Friday, and some Saturday we'll get rain. But I don't anticipate it being a lot of rain. I think we're going to get rain sporadically, and sometimes it might be hard, and sometimes it might be light, and sometimes there won't be any at all. So I'm praying that's how it's going to be, and it won't allow the river to come up too much more than it already is. I mean, we already know it's out of banks, but hopefully it won't bring it up too much more. And hopefully whatever we're getting, I guess that's what you have to worry about the most, is what's happening up north and what's gonna wash down to us and fill up our already swollen rivers and lakes. So I think out of all of it last night, I got worried for Lester, because I seen that Lake Livingston had opened their dam and was letting out 98,000 cubic feet of water per minute or something like that. And it was going to raise, Lake Livingston fills into Trinity River, and it was going to raise the Trinity River close to 22 feet higher than its normal hot thing. And I was like, well, that's scary. But Lester and Jamie were fine this morning, so that's just, it's just blessed all the way around. But we do want to keep people in our prayers. I know that just on my Facebook, locally, there were several rescues last night in early morning hours. And there's flooded homes in 3 or 4 different communities along the rivers. So we were blessed, and we need to just make sure we keep praying for the people that did have water. I'm sure it gets to a point where you're just like, do we want to do this again? There is so much growth around here and everywhere. There's development everywhere. And when development comes in and they throw down concrete, there's nowhere anymore for the water to go. And that's just a fact. So we just got to pray for those people that are still dealing with water, and the ones that were rescued out of their homes, and pray they can get back to their homes, pray that their homes are okay, and they can, they're going to have to do work, and hope that it's not too bad. We just got to keep them in our prayers. So I'm going to go, and y'all keep Dad in your prayers for his surgery in the morning. Did I already say that? I don't know if I already said that. I've got a doctor's appointment too. I'm going to swing by and check on him. I don't know. I'm just talking in circles maybe now. But in the morning, Dad has surgery, so we need to keep him in our prayers. So I love you guys. God bless y'all, and I will see you later. Levi, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Katie, I'm trying to do a video.